Hello everyone, it's me, Milka. Thank you for viewing this video. I made a video last night and the theme of my day, the thing I've been meditating upon today really has to do with dysfunctional families, dysfunctional families in black homes, in African homes, dysfunctional relationships, things of that sort. I've been thinking about that and meditating on that today and talking to a few people. The light change. Oh, talking to a few people, like friends and family, about that. It's been like a theme that I've been thinking about since yesterday. I've been thinking about that issue, dysfunctional families and dysfunctional people and toxic people and what that looks like and how it affects us personally and how it affects our families, and then into how it affects us as a nation, an African nation, how it affects our nation building, our community building. And since Sunday, it has been a theme for me up until now. And the Most High Creator has definitely been teaching me lessons about that, teaching me what that looks like, about, the aspects of what that looks like and how to break those barriers and how to break through that dysfunction and all of that pain and heartache to finally come together in unity and in love. And the goal of everything in this world, taking off my shoes, after everything is settled and after all is said and done, the goal of everything in this world, whether it's in your family, in your relationships, in your community, and even in the nation, in the black nation, the goal is always going to be unconditional love and unity. So I have my book here. I showed you guys this book yesterday in one of my videos. I am going to read a little bit of it and then I'm going to discuss it a little bit more in depth and just give some personal stories about the things I've learned over these few days on what I think about dysfunctional families, dysfunctional relationships, toxic relationship, and whatnot. So this book is called, I'm going to read the whole cover. It says, Designing a Unified Family and Repairing the Fractured Pieces of a Relationship Intelligently. Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships. Healing and avoiding the aftermath of cross-cultural unions and the suicide of family. You're divided, so they conquered. And this book was written by a black man. Of course, that's important to me because majority of the books that I read are written by African Americans or Africans authors, just because I am trying to support my own people and no one knows about particular issues more than the person who actually lives out that life. So no one better to talk about dysfunctional families than an African American man, because if we're going to be discussing about unconditional love, unity, dysfunctionality, and all those things encompassing, of course I'm going to read it from an African man's perspective, because he's my own people and he's also interested and engaged in nation building, like building the nation back together, piecing together the nation, the African nation, which of course it all starts at the family level. Getting through all that dysfunction, getting through all of that uncomfortability that we have with our family, all the tension, all of the headache, all of the hate, just passing through all of those emotions and walls and buildings and all of those things that we build up, and getting to the love. Like, the goal is just getting to the unconditional love. So let me just read from here and I'll touch on it a little bit, give a little. It says, you're divided, so they conquered. Give a little explanation, some personal stories, and yeah. So let me read the first couple of paragraphs. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to talk loud. Cultural division amongst those engaged in a long-term relationships, dating, matrimonial, sibling, parent, children, or extended family, has opened the door to an organism that has proven to be one of the most diabolical, self-regenerative forms of internal sabotage, causing the finest of people to completely lose their will to advance sanely through life. For the purposes of this book, for the purposes of this book, will refer to this false happiness or often disaster as cross-cultural unions. Ironically, there is no unity in this sort of arrangement, and herein lies the issue. The delusional idea of cultural this is the word. I'm going to spell it. Amalgalgation. I cannot pronounce it. Amalgamation. I have to look up what the word means. Within what should be a monoorganism, what should be a monoorganism is a false happiness overshadowed by catastrophe. This internal division feeds and nurtures external predators looking to do nothing but conquer, steal, and destroy. So sorry guys, the first paragraph was rough, but I am reading this out loud. I'm not the perfect reader. So what did I get from this? What I'm getting is like the uniting of cultures, like the African culture and the Western culture, and uniting those cultures together and trying to like function in both the Western culture and the African culture is not working out well for people of African descent. And the words that jumped out to me here in this paragraph was self-sabotage, delusion, catastrophe, division, and this last sentence: this internal division feeds and nurtures external predators who are people who are not of African descent. External predators, people who are not of African descent, looking to do nothing but conquer, steal, kill, and destroy. And of course, we all know that has been happening to us as a nation. So let's just read on deeper, see what the book is saying, see if we can really get into what's going on here. Family can be defined as the fundamental group of any society which consists of two or more individuals with the same goals and objectives. Originally, family was defined by those who served the household. This is an old definition with new world relevancy. If the family or home is an entity unto itself, the members who reside under this entity should show supreme allegiance to it. As they serve it, it serves them. How this family is served is defined by home culture. Culture defines how race, sex, religion, education, morality, psychology, and the world as a whole are perceived. Culture is a living, breathing organism that fights for survival and dominance within the psyche of an individual and community. Therefore, two cultures will fight for dominance if placed in the same place. So, African American culture, Western culture, which culture is going to be most dominant in our homes? That's what I'm getting from this. Our ancient culture, our African culture, our culture that is also written into the Bible, that is African culture. What is going to take, dominance in the home? So we can now start to see here how dysfunctionality in the African home can arise, because now we're battling, or now we are taking on two different cultures. One has to be dominant, like one has to function and lead the family. Is it going to be the Western culture, or is it going to be, our ancient African customs that are going to dominate and lead us in the family, and then therefore as a nation, right? So that's what I'm getting from this. If these cultures are forced to exist together in a unit, that unit will turn on itself, and much like an organic body whose immune system begins to war with itself. Yes, cross-cultural blending within a family structure is a suicidal, genocidal virus and should be treated as such. It lends to disharmony internally and externally. This virus thrives in environments such as those where individuals gain higher knowledge after engaging in a relationship with one who chooses to fly close to the ground. The scenario expresses itself despite new religious, spiritual awakenings, and the adaptation of newly discovered universal truths. Cross-cultural relationship, family blending has created a social aftermath resembling the butchery of militaristic miscegenation designed to bewilder a once unified people. I'm going to read that again. Cross-cultural relationships, family blending has created a societal aftermath resembling the butchery of militaristic miscegenation designed to bewilder a once unified people. Yes, Africans, people of African descent here in the Americas and in Africa, we were once unified. We had structure. We had family structure, and we had things that led us as family and as a unified people. We had a set of rules and laws and regulations that were not there to oppress, actually to set us free, where we can live freely and unified and in harmony and in peace and righteously. But when the Western culture or the European culture intermingled within our culture, things became confusing. Things started to break down. That's when the breakdown of the black family started to happen, and it has gotten so much worse. And our generation is like the height of the dysfunction, because it has basically now turned out violent, where families are violent towards each other.